And I think a lot of non-Indigenous people don't always understand that. They think that there's an umbrella group term of Native American.
Donna Christian and Raven Payment may have different tribal affiliations.
Ganian Gahaga and then Ojibwe.
I'm Sichangu, Lakota, and Dene.
But they faced the same dangers.
Growing up, I feel that, my mom had always told me that I couldn't go anywhere alone. In addition to that, I do have family members that have gone missing and murdered.
Both serve on the Denver American Indian Commission. And both have helped lead the way for a bill at the Capitol to focus more on cases of missing and murdered Indigenous relatives in Colorado.
So, it's one of those things where we have this victory ahead of us, which now signifies this is when the real work begins.
Beginning, because that bill was signed into law last week by Democratic Governor Jared Polis. It creates an official Office of Liaison for missing and murdered Indigenous relatives. Among other things, it requires the Colorado Department of Public Safety to help with investigating these cases, creates a dashboard to track the cases, and sets up an advisory board for the office. The unit will work under the state's Bureau of Investigation, with a preference for hiring people with experience working with tribal and Native American communities.
Representation matters, and it matters in the classroom as much as it matters in your workplace, and it matters in supporting families, and especially in sensitive issues such as this.
An issue they say finally has a stepping stone.
So essentially, if you learn how to respect Indigenous people and value us on a basic level of equitable humanity, these things will start to become a solvable crisis and no longer a crisis. And we can begin actually healing and moving forward and thriving instead of just surviving.
About $500,000 is initially budgeted towards this new office. The next step is appointing a director for the unit, and Jenny, a spokesperson for Governor Polis's office, tells me that person will serve as a liaison on behalf of Indigenous communities related to these cases.
And you said there were 17 of these going into the time that this was passed, right?
Yes, and so this sets that foundation now to start trying to solve those cases.
Okay, Louise, thank you for your reporting.